Hey kids, the following program, although edited, contains scenes of sexuality, graphic violence,
ritual satanic behavior,
the supernatural, explicit sequences. We're all familiar with them. Some material may be unsuitable for people unaccustomed to viewing films so explicitly presented. Only you can judge if you're mature enough to witness the frank and revealing scenes. They wish to consider whether it should be viewed by under 17. Parental discretion is advised.
Well, howdy, Schlockaholics. Welcome back to another episode of that Midnight Movie motherfucking mixtape, baby. We are joined by a very special guest this evening, fellow Canuck and just overall awesome human being, Ryan, a.k.a. Canadian Boy and Ryan, a.k.a. that Canadian Bacon, baby, from the Hormonal Werewolves. What's it, Cubed?
Werewolves Cubed.
Yeah, I've been plugging those guys on the show the last few weeks. You definitely need to check out that podcast if you haven't already. Tonight, we're going to run a little old school YouTube exercise here, and that is our Desert Island flicks. 5 films that we would take with us if we were to be exiled for life to a desert island, hopefully of our choosing. I mean, if I could set it up to where I could take the appropriate fishing tackle, I could stay pretty entertained for most of it, even outside of the films. This is an old school YouTube gimmick from way back in the day. These videos were a trend for a long time, the Desert Island films, or just Desert Island stuff. We used to do it with retro games. Albums was another popular one that you would see people doing it with. And I feel like movies as well. And we're going to resurrect that shit today because it's just a fun exercise to run through. It kind of forces you to think about movies that you would choose based on replay value as opposed to sentimentality or things like that. So yeah, I'm excited to jump into this. But before we get into that, you been watching anything cool lately that's not podcast related, Ryan? You got anything that you want to throw out there to the people?
Only thing I think of was actually, I was just talking about this movie the other day too, but it's worth another mention. I, for the first time, saw that movie Time After Time with Malcolm McDowell, dude from Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2, Secret of the Ooze. He was also in The Omen, got his head cut off by a pane of glass. David Warner.
That dude, yeah, okay.
So I'm going to tell you the plot right now.
Plays a Nazi in something I watched not that long ago.
He does not play a Nazi in this, but it's still going to blow your fucking mind. So Malcolm McDowell plays H.G. Wells, author of The Time Machine. Turns out he actually built a working time machine, and he uses it to go from the year 1886 to 1979 to track down Jack the Ripper, played by David Warner.
That sounds fucking amazing, dude.
Doesn't it? It is not. But
well, even better.
It's basically
we like a good terrible film over here.
It's basically an hour and 45 of Malcolm McDowell reacting to modern day stuff. Like he gets a Big Mac at one point and just loses his fucking shit. Sees a digital clock and and it's this for an hour and 45, and then all of a sudden they remember this is a Jack the Ripper movie. And
that's
the last like 10
delightful,
minutes.
Dude. I mean, that honestly does sound delightful. So
I mean, I didn't hate my time with it, but it definitely was not a good movie.
Sorry, I think we had a delay there. I didn't mean to step on you, bud. What happens in the last 10 minutes?
Oh, sorry, man. It actually turns into a Jack the Ripper movie.
Is that part rewarding at least?
No, not in the slightest.
Fantastic.
But it does end with the insinuation that H.G. Wells actually was a time traveler in real life.
Well, there you go. I like it on paper. It sounds fucking like it could have been the most epic thing ever. Sounds like a great candidate for a movie that deserves a remake, like in modern times,
It's legit one of the weirdest plots I've ever heard for a movie. And I can't believe it wasn't on, this never even showed up on my radar. And I just had a buddy the other night being like, hey, we're going to watch this movie Time After Time. I'm like, what the fuck's that? He's like, well, it's young Malcolm McDowell going into the future to fight Jack the Ripper. And I'm like, what?
Yeah, man. I mean, it's amazing. Neither of us had heard of that prior to obviously you getting into it, because I love H.G. Wells. I mean, I've got all the novels and everything, and it's I think if you're into B movies or just sci-fi in general, beyond like Star Trek or Star Wars or Twilight Zone or whatever, you're probably a fan of H.G. Wells. You know, it's just it goes without saying. Again, on paper, that sounds fucking monumental. It seems like the type of thing that would be a big hit right now is like an HBO series or a direct to streaming movie. Didn't they just do one recently where it's like a whole Poe-verse type thing? Like it's like a whole Edgar Allan Poe shared universe, sort of like Castle Rock, but with Edgar Allan Poe.
Yeah, and it was done by what's his name there? The dude that
did Black
Stephen
Mass
King
or whatever.
Yeah, he got the Stephen King art on. Mike Flanagan. It was called House of Usher.
There you go. Yeah, I've heard good things about that too, from mutual channel that we're a fan of or show, Dead and Lovely. Those guys were talking about it a bit. It got me intrigued. I almost bought the complete works of Edgar Allan Poe just the other day, but I settled for a copy of The Collector, which is just an infamously creepy novel that inspired several real-life serial killers and everything. About a dude who is obsessed with collecting butterflies, and he also happens to be obsessed with like this English student at a college that he goes to. So he goes ahead and kidnaps her and keeps her captive in the basement of his cabin or something like that. I've never read it, but it's been on the list for a while. And then right as I was about to grab that H.G. Wells completed works, I saw a copy of Moby Dick, a real nice copy with like illustrated covers and everything. And I decided to grab that because, if you're going to read a story like The Collector about how obsession can lead to tragic consequences, Moby Dick is a good classic to pair with that. Exhausting as fuck to read. If you've ever given it a shot.
I have not.
Old Herman Melville was a tedious motherfucker, let me tell you that. I think everyone was a tedious motherfucker back then, though. They're all starching their collars too much or whatever. But I'm looking forward to taking another trip through it as an adult. I haven't read it since high school. So.
It was that old-timey language. That was the problem. Those extra syllables are just exhausting.
Well, and he describes way too much, When you read Moby Dick nowadays, it really does sound like a tome written by like an obsessive dude, obsessive compulsive dude. So I think there's some truth to, the narrative in there. But that's my pickups. I haven't been watching anything. I've been playing based on a post that me and you interacted on, Pokemon Leaf Green, dude. I am all the way through all 8 gyms. I have the legendary birds in the bag, Moltres, Articuno, and Zapdos. And I'm just training them up with that little versus finder thing and just getting ready to fight the Elite Four. It's pretty satisfying. I got like 50 hours in on the game, and it's 100% just because that day that you posted that meme and we talked about games that we liked, and we both pretty much were in agreement that Gen 1 Pokemon is the shit. Leaf Green was the way to go. And, well, here we are.
Bulbasaur was always my go-to. You just reminded me, though, I got to get it on my Xbox. They just came out with early access to that. Have you seen that Pal World game?
I have. And people have been seeing me at work playing Pokemon. So they've been telling me about Pal World like every other day. It's
Pokemon with guns. I've seen some clips of it on TikTok and stuff, and I'm like, I gotta try this. So
I'm into giving it a look. It's very much more likely I'll watch some videos on it and call it a day unless it looks real sick. I don't know. I'm a diehard Pokemon dude when it comes to the first couple of generations of the game. So I think I'll probably just end up going through Heart Gold or Soul Silver after I'm done with Leaf Green. It's hard for me to get into games, man. I work so much, and then I've got the kid, single dad status kind of a thing. And, well, I've got my girlfriend helping with that stuff now, but it's, not a lot of time for the gaming, unfortunately, which is where this, I don't have it on hand, but the whole thing that also sparked it, in addition to us talking about it on that post, was my kid got as a Santa present this thing called a Backbone. I don't know if you're familiar with this device. It's like this foldable thing that basically turns your phone into a Nintendo Switch.
Oh, yeah. So does that work as good as it advertises?
Oh, dude, it is so butter. Like, it is the best gaming device I've bought in decades. It absolutely changed the game. I immediately stole the one that my niece got as well as a backup for when I eventually play this one into the ground. And I plan on buying at least a couple more. It's fucking fantastic. Get that thing, the Pizza Boy Game Boy emulator on your phone, and you're good to go. Like, you can play every single Game Boy Advance game flawlessly on your phone, every single previous generation Game Boy game. And then obviously with other emulators, you can play all types of other stuff. It instantly registers with your phone as just an input device. No app download required. You just it's just plug and play.
So my dream of finally playing Quackshot again for the Sega Genesis might actually happen. That's what you're saying?
It will 100% happen if in every other dream that you've ever had with retro gaming, if you get one of those backbones, dude. I think they're like $85 to $100, depending on where you buy them from. 1,000% worth the investment. I mean, I'm not exaggerating. I'm more stoked on the backbone than I was when we bought the PlayStation 5, because it's like, holy shit, dude, I can just plug this onto my phone at any time and play whatever game, and all those old classic games, they can emulate flawlessly now on a smartphone. So there's no reason to go and invest like hundreds of dollars doing some, crazy Raspberry Pi setup unless you want to just play on a TV. But if you just want that handheld, quick dad gaming, Backbone's the way to go, dude.
Might have just sold me on it right there. Because, I was looking into Raspberry Pis. I was like, this seems like a big fucking headache just to play some like fucking Ghostbusters or something. Yeah,
kind of is. If you can find someone that can build it for you and put it in a cool case and send the right controllers with it. I mean, I can hook you up with people that can do that too, if you want that console experience on your TV. But in reality, again, us being dads, it's kind of, you're competing with the kids for that TV time. The Backbone is perfect. I mean, I got just the Google Pixel. I think I don't know what number of pixel this is, 2 or 3, but I mean, look at that as a screen. That's all I need, Then the Backbone plugs onto it. It makes it about this wide on each side, like way more fucking comfortable to hold than an actual Nintendo Switch. And you're gaming, dude.
No, you've convinced me. I'm gonna get one.
I was skeptical at first too about the build quality, because a lot of things like that in the past were like janky. So you would buy it and like break it in a week just by playing with it, I have beat the shit out of this Backbone. I'm one of those people too that like constantly spams the A button when I'm playing Pokemon. Like, even though you don't have
right?
In my mind, it makes it feel like it goes quicker.
No, I don't care what they fucking tell you. It works. You freaking tap that A button, you're better chance of catching the Pokemon.
It seems like you got a better chance of them. You got a better chance of critical hits. You've got everything, increases. Maybe it's fucking subliminal. Like, what do you call it? I think it's real though.
It's canon in my head. I don't care what they say.
Yeah. So, I mean, if that A button hasn't gave out at this point with 50 hours logged on Pokemon, I don't know what will. Also, if you get the right emulator, obviously you've got speed options that you can enable to make it a lot easier for you to play through these games. I've definitely been using it with Pokemon, and it's going pretty good. 80 Pokemon logged in the Pokedex. My only real goal is to catch at least 150. I know that you can't complete the original Pokedex on there without trading, but I can catch 150 Pokemon on there, I think. So that's the goal. Beat the Elite Four, catch 150, call it a day, move on to Soul Silver. So,
there you go. You got a plan.
Yeah. So I guess that's it. Kind of, again, I haven't really been watching anything. I've been just watching like these compilation videos where they go back, or mini documentaries, whatever you want to call them, where they break down old Howard Stern lore. That's been real fun as well. Obviously I'm listening to your guys' stuff and doing the Dead and Lovely thing, Scream Until You Like It, all of our little homegrown podcasts that we have floating around our friend groups, and you guys do not disappoint, let me tell you. Absolutely love the double feature format that you guys run over there too. I think it is the funnest thing. It really does set you apart from other horror podcasts or just movie podcasts in general. And please don't ever stop. I look forward to seeing what those double features are going to be. And
we just dropped the Ghost Story episode today.
Yeah.
And that's being paired with Poltergeist. I'm excited. They finally took one of my picks. I'm excited for our next double pairing. We're going to be comparing James Cameron's Aliens to Roger Corman's Carnosaur 2. I know.
I thought it was going to be split second, but
no, it's not split second. Split second is on the list. I got it paired with. Yeah, I was talking to you about that. Split second is on the list. It will be coming out at some point. We have it paired with Hardware.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, we did. Yeah. We did talk about that.
Although I'm on the fence about maybe changing that up, split second with something else, and maybe pairing Hardware with Death Machine.
I think that actually makes more sense.
Yeah, so with that Brad Dourif one. Yeah.
Again, you guys that watch Schlockaholics now, I don't blow smoke up any asses unless it's specifically requested as some sort of a kinky fetish type thing. I'm not just telling you this because you're on the show. I've been saying it for weeks now. Hormonal Werewolves is something you guys need to be listening to. It is such a good show. Hopefully we can get Adam and Abby on here with you one of these days and do like a whole, a full cast version of this type of shit. But without further ado, let's jump into our list here. We got these desert island films to get through. We're gonna let you lead it off since you're our guest tonight. I'm gonna check over here, see if we got any comments. I probably got a couple of people in here. Good day, ladies, says my lady. What's up, girl? I'll clap those cheeks later. You just wait. And then we got Corey Horton in here. He says he hasn't heard of that one either. Definitely need to check that one out. It sounds fucking fantastically bad, based on what Ryan was saying. But again, there's those premises sometimes you run across that are just begging for a modern take on it. What were you going to say, Ryan?
It is definitely the right kind of bad, though. Like, I still had a good time with it. I love shitting on it, and it's definitely a movie, if you want to imbibe in a couple of adult beverages, maybe some other relaxants, and just have fun with a couple of buddies watching a movie, it's a good one.
Yeah, I mean, if you're going to sit down for a flick where one of the high points is H.G. Wells getting a Big Mac, burning some brush probably sounds like a good idea. So what's your first film on the desert island list, buddy? And since you mentioned adult beverages, what are you sipping on tonight? What's that?
Oh, I'm keeping it classy. I've got PBR 5.9.
What the fuck is that?
Pabst Blue Ribbon, but it's a strong Pabst Blue Ribbon.
That doesn't exist where I'm at.
No shit. No, yeah,
absolutely doesn't.
Yeah, just shy of a 6%er.
That's a game changer, and I think I need it in my life at some point.
It tastes exactly how you would think. It's basically just shy of a Colt 45.
Nice.
Tastes like
Pabst. I was always a fan of Pabst. There was many years where that was the thing that I drank, and to be honest, when I first started my YouTube career, or whatever you want to call it, like back in the day, I was known for just drinking 40s of Pabst Blue Ribbon. That was my whole thing,
Oh no, I'll never shit on Pabst. As far as like I'm an IPA guy. I like a good IPA. But if I'm gonna drink just a nice cold beer, I don't like people got them Budweisers or Molsons, Labatt's. I've always been a Pabst guy. It's cheap, and to me, it tastes just as good, if not better.
It's amazing that it's not more popular with people that drink that sort of generic shelf beer, like shit that you just grab at the supermarket. It's so crazy to me that Budweiser is like the main one because it tastes like ass, and it always ends up giving me a headache.
Yeah, no, they all taste like, I don't know, like I said, it's either just fancy club soda or just doesn't work. PBR, at least you can tell you're having a beer.
Yeah. I think, if I was to rank like the hierarchy of those lesser shelf beers, lesser meaning better, I would say that it would be like PBR, Hams, and then Busch. Those are like fuck that. Rainier.
We have Busch. Hams. We have Busch in Canada. The other two you mentioned, I don't know what those are.
Hams, I'm not sure where it's from. Maybe Milwaukee or something like that, along with like, a ton of other fucking beers, because that's all they do out there is go ice fishing and brew beer, apparently, and make cheese.
But fuck, That's amazing. That's the holy fucking trinity right there.
Yeah, really. What do you need to fucking be doing other than that? And then Rainier is definitely a northwest thing. You know, it's called Rainier because of Mount Rainier and everything. If you like a Miller, but it feels too fucking like pussified for you, a Rainier is gonna hit real nice. You know, perfect barbecue beer. A Rainier. It's not too heavy, not too skunky, nothing like that. You're gonna be able to just take them down all day. They come in a convenient 30-pack. You'd enjoy it, Ryan. We can never get you down this way for a horror con or some kind of event. We'll have to rock some Rainiers. Hey, listen, I don't think you're going to be complaining when it's going down. All right, so just settle down with that. Don't be shaking that fucking head at you. So, what's your first movie on the list tonight, Ryan? What's your first desert island flick? Let's go ahead and add a banner here. Why not?
Well, I'm gonna start with my most mainstream. Basically, not even I wouldn't even call it schlock, but this is absolutely a movie that I could watch anytime. I could watch it over and over and over again. I got one of the original posters for the film right from the theater when I was a kid, still on my wall. I'm going to go with I think it was 1985. If I had to guess, but I'm going with Little Shop of Horrors, Rick Moranis.
Can't go wrong with that film. Recently, well, not recently, it was like a year and a half ago, I was fortunate enough to be part of a podcast double feature. Interesting that it worked out that way. Where we cover the original and then, you know, the Rick Moranis one. And I gotta say, I'll always be a bigger fan of the Rick Moranis one. You know, it's just such a childhood movie for me. I think it's really the movie that made me open to musicals. So if it wasn't for Little Shop of Horrors, I probably wouldn't like Grease as much as I do, or even like, you know, more obscure schlocky things like Poultrygeist from fucking Trauma. You know,
try to keep
I love
a musical.
My favorite musical is Rocky Horror Picture Show, followed closely by Repo, a Genetic Opera. But, you know, Little Shop of Horrors would probably round out the top three. If I'm being honest, I absolutely love that fucking movie.
Repo and Rocky Horror are both in my top 5 of greatest musicals all time as well. But I was the right age, and I think I was about 3 when my parents sat me down to watch it. And Little Shop is always just like, even as a kid, there was a Little Shop of Horrors board game, and I used to play that nonstop. I like that was Corman, right? That was Corman that did the original?
Yes.
Yeah. I've seen it. I didn't see it till much later on in life, so that's probably why it didn't hit me as hard. I will always favor the Rick Moranis one. The practical effects to this day are unmatched. Like, Audrey 2 is probably, in my mind,
amazing.
The perfect puppetry that the best puppetry I've ever seen in movies.
You know, one thing that always, for whatever reason, like stuck in my psyche from Little Shop of Horrors was the wrapping of the body parts in the newspaper.
Oh, the newspaper.
Like, that just, it felt like such like a New York deli thing to do.
Yeah. Well, you know, it's like, good if it's wrapped in newspaper.
Right. And there isn't any cannibalism or reference to it, to my knowledge, in Little Shop of Horrors, but it almost kind of like invokes the idea of it. The fact that they're wrapping it in the newspapers. If you're familiar with like the, you know, the cold cuts wrapped in newspaper thing from, you know, I think I learned about that from like mob movies, and then eventually learned that it was a real thing at certain New York delis. And, you know, went from there. But somehow that all lodged in my little kid brain of like, ooh, they're wrapping them in newspapers. Like, someone might eat one of those accidentally or something.
That boot.
Absolutely love that fucking movie, dude. If you haven't seen it, you need to get out there and watch it immediately. And honestly, it's worth double featuring with the original. The original, well, you've seen it, Ryan. I mean, I would say it's worth watching. It's not as good.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's it should be on your list as well. If anything, just to see what's his name. That
Jack
dude
Nicholson?
that's in everything. No, not Jack Nicholson. He's great in it.
Oh shit!
What's his ass from Terminator and like
Terminator,
every other movie
Gremlins
that we grew up on?
Oh my god!
You guys just talked about him on the werewolves.
Oh fuck!
That's why his documentary is called That Guy in That Thing or whatever, right?
Oh my god! I'm looking it up.
He's just in so many fucking movies that we all take him for granted and forget his actual real government.
Dick Miller. Yeah, no, Dick Miller. Well, he's a Corman staple, and that's why you had him in Gremlins and shit, because Joe Dante was a child of Corman. So,
and he's prominent in the original Little Shop. Like, he's got a memorable role in it. So, worth checking out. My first film of the night is one that I think, hopefully, hold on, let me see here. Oh, you're going to shake some cheeks? You're going to make him clap? You're going to give that thunderous roar?
Jesus Christ.
Thunder rolls and a lightning strikes. Oh, that's right when those fucking cheeks go bam. That's bam, bam, bam. Yeah, babe. I love you too. My first film of the night is one that I'm sure, hopefully, Ryan is familiar with. Don Dohler was an absolute B-movie legend. Don Dohler was kind of the original dude who really sort of championed backyard movies. Guys from that old guard of like dudes that were like Corman's age and everything. Not a lot of them were out there really telling you to go out there and make your own movies. You know, a lot of us nowadays associate that whole like mentality and ethos with Lloyd Kaufman, and rightly so, because he championed it to a lot of people as well. But Don Dohler was like the original dude. Don Dohler was responsible not only for Cinemagic magazine, which a lot of people probably know about, especially if they're filmmakers from back in the day. Cinemagic was a magazine that came out and it showed you how to do stop motion, or it showed you how to do rudimentary appliances like prosthetics and things like that. Or it basically showed you how to make your friends into monsters and make your own movies, you know. Absolutely invaluable if you're going to be doing any sort of B-movie production. I think half the fucking problem with modern B-movies is that we don't have enough people out there with a stack of Cinemagic or like a digital archive of it, and instead they're just using these cut and paste like CGI programs to do their effects, when really they could be running down to a Walgreens, buying a few things and doing some Cinemagic style effects that's going to give their film a lot more of a legitimate like practical effects vibe to it and everything like that. Don also made his own movies, as you can imagine, you know, being a dude that pioneered and championed that stuff as much as he did. And, you know, he was known for going back, remaking his own movies, which is pretty fucking sick. The movie that we're going to talk about right now is actually a remake of his, you know, first film, The Alien Factor, from like the late 70s or something like that. And then he eventually came back around, remade it for this, and then remade it again later on under a title that slips my mind at the moment. Or maybe this is the third remake. I think The Galaxy Invader was the second version of The Alien Factor that he did. And then Night Beast, the one that we're about to take a look at, was the film that was his final version of it. Like, he was finally happy with the way that it turned out. I would argue in certain ways the first two versions of it, especially the original one, Alien Factor, is probably my favorite. But in terms of rewatchability in a desert island situation, I really do think that Night Beast is the cream of the crop when it comes to it. This movie has made me laugh forever. I mean, I just fucking, you know, I love everything about it. It's got one of the best perm/mustache combos to ever appear in a feature film. It's got one of the most awkward fucking sex scenes ever recorded. And a pretty solid rubber suit monster with some decent effects. I mean, obviously, as you're going to see in this trailer here, it's the peak of, you know, several different techniques of Hollywood level, you know, effects. So just check it out here. Night Beast.
From another galaxy, from another world, comes the embodiment of fear.
What the hell was that?
Night Beast, Terror from Beyond. A high-tech warrior from a distant planet. A killing machine with a taste for human flesh. A community abandoned in a code of silence.
Wicker never even called the state. They don't even know we have a bad situation here.
A love affair.
You know you're a very attractive girl, Lisa.
Two people brought together by the urgency of the moment. Two people torn apart by the savage fury of Night Beast.
I'm sorry, Jamie. There was nothing that could be done.
The most vicious creature to ever span the intergalactic void has come to pay its respects. This is the story of how the little people answer the big questions. See the movie that will change the face of modern science fiction cinema. Night Beast, Terror from Beyond.
More like two people torn apart by the savage fury of that guy's perm. What did you think of that?
I've never seen the trailer for that movie before. I've seen the movie. I've never seen that trailer.
Oh, so good, dude. That narrator fucking went full ham, and I appreciate every syllable of it.
That was amazing.
Night Beast is a movie that should be on everybody's radar. Not only is it rad for all the reasons that we described, but it also was the first movie that a young J.J. Abrams worked on, as he met Don Dohler through a mailing list and supplied the score for that film via like cassette tapes that he sent to Don.
That's right. I remember hearing about that.
Yep. So were it not for Night Beast, we would not have several bad Star Wars movies, or at least one or two, and the modern Star Trek shit, which I actually do appreciate. And I don't hate that Star Wars shit. I don't have enough time in my life to fucking lose sleep over a bunch of junk that shouldn't have been made anyways. The only Star Wars you need in your life is the original trilogy and the Bantam Spectra expanded universe novels, and most of the video games. Any thoughts on that, Ryan?
So Night Beast, it's funny because you mentioned Dead and Lovely before. My introduction to Night Beast was actually quite recent. I'd say in the last year or two.
Nice.
I'd always heard about it. Knew it was right up my alley, but it was just one of those movies I never, for whatever reason, just never sat down and watched. And it was Dead and Lovely does a hangout where people just get together on Discord, shoot the shit, and watch a movie together.
Yeah.
That's right. The Friday night Scream and Chat, and the Sunday, the I Scream Sunday.
Yeah, never been on
and it
one
was,
of those.
Oh, it's a good time. You should drop in sometime. Despite their popularity, the Scream and Chats and the Ice Cream Sundays, they're usually about the same 10 people or so. And but anyway, long story short, that was my introduction. And it's a perfect setting to watch a movie like Night Beast. Like you're just with a bunch of close friends and just soaking in what you're seeing.
Yeah, just killing some barley pops and watching some trash. That's the best way to enjoy that shit.
And I definitely did. I did really enjoy Night Beast.
What do you think about that dude's fucking bird body during that awkward love scene? He looks like a shaved eagle. Yeah.
It sounds like a shaved eagle.
Indeed. Yeah, Night Beast should be on your fucking list. So what's your next film, buddy? What's next up on yours? Again, apologies for Ryan not having trailers tonight. This was thrown together last minute, so he's doing his thing. Hopefully it'll intrigue you even more to check out his stuff. But yeah, normally I would have included trailers for him as well, but we just didn't have time. Anyway, continue.
So my number 2 is we mentioned Lloyd Kaufman. So Troma, like Kaufman is famous for just fucking throwing some money together and filming something in a backyard, but Kaufman's also a smart businessman. Like he sees the right kind of movie and he'll throw some dollar bills towards them just so Troma could have their name in front of a film. And this movie that I'm talking about right now is one of those movies. It was not like Kaufman, other than the fact that Kaufman threw some money and said, we're going to make this a Troma movie. He had nothing else to do with it. I'm going to talk about Dead Dudes in the House, a.k.a. The House on Tombstone Hill.
That's not one I'm familiar with, man.
Oh, shit. So House on Tombstone Hill, a.k.a. the way I know it is Dead Dudes in the House. It is a Troma production. Kaufman had nothing to do with it. It was one of those movies that was
like Rabbit Grannies, Surf Nazis.
Rabbit Grannies.
I mean,
yeah.
That
kind of stuff. It's basically it's got some Evil Dead vibes to it, but it's also got shit. What is that other movie? I can't think of it right now. But basically, just the story.
I might not.
Yeah, just the story is there's angry grandma. She's like 90 years old, and her spirit is living on in this house that these college students have bought as a fixer-upper opportunity. They're going to swap the house, and they're working on it. Turns out Granny's still living in the attic, and she kills them one by one in nefarious ways, but their bodies come back, almost like Deadites in the Evil Dead movies. And it's just a fun, stupid, gory flick. It's got shit that doesn't even make sense. There's characters introduced like 50 minutes in just so that they could have a higher body count. It is, the practical effects are a lot of fun. We get some decapitations. We get some poking and prodding with screwdrivers, all kinds of pointy things. It's just a dumb, fun flick. I absolutely, like, 12-year-old Ryan rented this from his local gas station, and I fell in love with it.
Not enough is made to do about gas station rental spots back in the day, because, we were always talking about, for me, it was literally called the local hometown video and all those hot spots. But everybody forgets the local gas station where you'd turn in your drunk stepdad's fucking cans for the deposit and end up renting like 6 movies to get you through the week. I would hit those spots all the time. Shout out to Shortstop, which is a baseball themed gas station that we've had forever for some reason. We're not known for baseball here, nor is it a popular sport in the region, but why not? Shortstop, right? Baseball themed gas station that also rents videotapes. And then another spot that we used to rent tapes and shit at back in the day was this place called Arctic Circle, which was actually like a local regional chain similar to Dairy Queen, but they were known for renting tapes at the place. And it's not even our local one that was known for that. Like the one that I used to rent out when we lived in the Dalles for a little bit was also rented tapes. So I'd go in there and get like some nice chicken tendies and some fry sauce and ice cream. And I would rent fucking Serendipity, the Pink Dragon, or Critters or something like that. And
holy shit, Serendipity! Serendipity just unlocked a core fucking memory.
Core fucking memory, right? Interestingly enough, that's anime. So those of us that were on that Serendipity tip were on the ground floor of like 90s anime without even knowing it.
That is news to me. That's fucking nuts. Serendipity is anime. So you got like your Princess Mononokes, your Akiras, your Guyvers. And Serendipity.
And Serendipity, yeah. My next film on the list is one that is definitely near and dear to my heart. It is one that I have championed to people for a long time. It is one that has appeared on this channel several different times. And I'm hoping that tonight I'll be able to get it out there to a wider audience of people that might appreciate it. But it's Leif Jonker's Darkness from the early 90s. I believe he's from Wichita, Kansas, like same city as the BTK killer. The dude is just an old school video hound. You know, he would hang out at video stores back in the day. He always had his ambitions to make his own horror film. And Darkness is essentially what we got out of that. It's made by a bunch of like 17 to 19-year-old kids, and Leif, who was like probably about our age now when he did the film, maybe a little bit younger. I feel like in the past I've been mistaken on this, though, and Leif called me out on it. So maybe he was also 19, but he was just blessed with those genetics where he looked like you at 19, you know, so he could buy beer and shotguns and everything that they used to make this film. But yeah, Leif Jonker's Darkness. This has a pending release from Arrow Video for a Blu-ray, and that's the trailer that you guys are about to see now. This is unequivocally my favorite low-budget B movie of all time. You know, it's the movie that has continued over the years, over the last 20 years, to inspire me to eventually make my own B movie epic. But at the same time also inspired me to try to get friends together and shoot something a little bit more feasible. I did do a short film in the past, which hopefully will be coming up on the channel here in the near future if I can find the full raw video and balance out some sound issues that it used to have. But if not, you guys will see clips from it. Either way, you know, this movie is a continuing source of inspiration, and if this Blu-ray can come out, I think it's going to get it out there to a very wide audience of people that are going to enjoy it. I know right now for a fact Ryan's going to enjoy what he's going to see. So Darkness from Leif Jonker.
Somewhere in the heartland of America, an evil has awakened.
If he catches us, we're all dead.
Born to create an army of the undead.
Hey!
Unless it is stopped.
Nobody is going to hurt you.
It will take our towns.
You're wrong.
It will consume our cities.
We're already dead.
It will rule the earth. No one will be safe. No soul will be spared. There will be no escape. Pray to die before they eat you alive. Leif Jonker's Darkness. This film is not yet rated. 13th Dream Entertainment proudly presents the digitally remastered definitive edition of the internationally acclaimed underground horror classic, Leif Jonker's Darkness. 4 stars. You thought horror, true horror, was dead? Think again. Ferocious splatter and easy 10 plus on the gore score. 3 stars, some of the most impressive gross-out special effects since the original Evil Dead. I regard Darkness as the horror film of the decade. Darkness. At the edge of dawn, even the dead will scream.
There you have it.
What the shit was that?
Absolute epic splatter, bro. Darkness is an unsung secret, or it really is one of the most underrated, I think, like low budget epics of all time. And that's largely down to the fact that Leif, the guy that directed it, who I'm friends with on Facebook and we've interacted, he's just a perfectionist. You know, that movie itself he shot over the course of like 2 or 3 years with a bunch of teenage kids from the local community, and then just put it together meticulously. And that's like his only movie. He's never done anything else. That's pretty much it, you know, and he's just shopped that over the years. Leif's also hugely responsible for a lot of cool B movie and horror stuff that we've seen in the past. Like, did you hear about the Dawn of the Dead 3D thing that happened a while back? That was Leif. He was like one of the integral dudes in making that happen, like arguably the main dude in making that happen, you know. So he's just pure passion, you know. He's all about this lifestyle and these movies. That was his splatter epic that he made back in the day, and he's just spent the years perfecting it. Like, When I originally bought Darkness, this is a movie no one ever heard of, right? It came digitally remastered and restored from all his old VHS versions on a 2-disc Blu-ray set with like a 3-hour making of documentary with interviews with every single cast and crew member. It's like the best set you could get for it at the time. And honestly, even with the inflated price tag based on rareability or whatever the fuck you call that, rareability. Darkness is like $70 to $125 to buy that old school Barrel Entertainment release now, but it's still worth it because of that fucking 3-hour documentary and all the crazy special features. It's supposed to be coming out from Arrow Video, so hopefully people will get it in a lot more affordable package with even better special features, hopefully all of the same, plus some, color correct. I mean, it's going to look even better, and it's going to have a ton of shit on it. The only reason it hasn't came out yet is because the pandemic delayed a bunch of it. And then Leif is such a perfectionist that it was going to take like 5 years anyways, and the pandemic made it take even longer. Regrettably, this is not available to stream anywhere. So I can get anybody who wants to watch it, like a rip of it, but otherwise you got to wait for the Arrow Video release. I definitely would love to see you guys talk about it on Hormonal Werewolves, or just hear your thoughts after you've watched it, Ryan. I can see you over there. You're like, damn,
I just, everything about it, holy shit. That is like, that to me, that is, there's so many, like, it just oozes that classic fucking Lord of the Rings guy.
Peter Jackson. It's one part that, one part Evil Dead, one part fucking Dead Next Door / Romero Zombies,
that's what I mean.
Everything you want.
Everything
local
about
thrash
it
metal on the soundtrack. Okay. Shot without permits. Live shotgun rounds being fired for all those head explosions because they didn't know how to do it without them back in the day. All of this guerrilla style, so they would have to take off afterwards because the cops would be coming or whatever. It's legitimately my favorite low budget independent B movie ever. I've been championing it for years on the internet.
Well, shit. Arrow drops this. I guarantee there's no question. Like, fucking,
you have to own it.
Oh yeah, that just from that trailer alone, there is no way I am not going to have a blast watching this fucking movie. Like, it's not even possible. I just from the trailer, I guarantee I'll fucking love it.
Dude, that left out a lot of great stuff too. The movie is, it's not oversold by that trailer. It is way more insane than that trailer makes it out to be.
If what was in that trailer shows up in the movie, I guarantee I will fucking love it.
It's that times, no joke, like times 10, through the whole movie. It's insane. That was the tip of the iceberg.
I'm gonna put that on my radar for sure, because I gotta fucking see that.
So what's next on your list, buddy?
Next on my list, we've got a Canadian classic that, again, I did not rent this from my local gas station. I actually rented it from my local grocery store. Because in rural Canada, there are no video stores. It's just other stores that happen to rent VHS.
Smoke shops that'll sell you a carton of fucking Canadian classics for your aunt without any ID.
Your export A's.
It's the first place I rented Mario RPG too. Was from those same people. I think I rented them and bought a carton of cigarettes for my aunt at the same time.
Go ahead. The 80s were fucking epic. I'm gonna go with The Brain.
Good one. Also, very narrowly appeared on my. Well, it basically did in name only because I couldn't find a solid trailer for it at the time. Eventually, weirdly enough, I did right afterwards. But The Brain is a Christmas movie.
It is,
which a lot of people don't give it credit for. It's all over that movie too. Not as the theme, but it is in the background.
It's in the background everywhere, yeah.
To the point where it's noticeable. Yeah.
But yeah, you've seen it. It's just well, how the fuck do you even describe the brain? Like,
it's wild.
Troubled youth goes for experimental psychotherapy from the dude that was the bad guy in Reanimator.
Yeah, which just is a recipe for disaster.
Yeah, it just feeds this little brain that eventually grows into this giant thing with just teeth that also kind of steals a little bit from Nightmare on Elm Street. There's these wild dream sequences that are really trippy, involving tentacles and killer teddy bears. And fuck, I can't even. It's impossible to describe this movie and give it justice.
You know what? I take some umbrage with that, dude. I mean, as much as I came up on, Nightmare on Elm Street as a kid, they don't own the fucking game on dream sequences, right? Like, we had them in Twilight Zone. We had them in several other movies before Nightmare on Elm Street was a thing.
We did, but I feel Nightmare on Elm Street really solidified them. Yeah.
Yeah, I'll give you that. But I don't know. I always take a little bit of like offense when offense is the wrong word. I feel a little defensive of these.
I get what you're saying. Yeah.
Someone's like, it just rips off Nightmare because it has dream sequences, and it's like, okay, there's tons of movies that had elaborate dream sequences before Nightmare on Elm Street. Even movies where the dream sequences turned out to be real in real life. Like, I feel like that happened in classic horror films that I saw, a couple at least, before Nightmare was the thing.
I think the thing is, a lot of people bring up Nightmare not because, and you're absolutely right. Like, you got, I'm pretty sure even like Outer Limits and shit, like they all did that. Like toying with the fact of nightmares blending with reality is not. Wes Craven didn't fucking invent that. But what Nightmare did was, like, Nightmare really just made it a neat little package. Like, there was always the dream sequences that were parts of these stories. Nightmare made it the story. And let's face it, fuck. Especially like with the first few movies, Robert Englund as Freddy Krueger is fucking iconic.
He really is, I think Robert Englund in the late 70s and the 80s on its own was iconic.
Oh, yeah.
You look at him in Eaten Alive, he's like one of the best fucking characters in that movie. And then I mean, he's a standout role in that. I think it's insane, honestly, that Robert Englund is mainly just known for Nightmare on Elm Street, because it's like, what? Like, how did all those same kids that were growing up on that not eventually see V at some point?
Badass space soldier in fucking Galaxy of Terror.
He is in Galaxy of Terror with Sid Haig and everything. Yeah. Galaxy of Terror is fucking underrated too. Another Corman flick, I think.
Corman. It was going to be on my list tonight, but I changed it up.
You guys definitely have to come on this show more often.
Like I said, dude, I would love to be on your show. Just your PST, like my EST, like it's 10 o'clock for me right now, man. It's on a Wednesday night. I got work.
It's true.
That's my biggest issue most of the time. But no, I absolutely, if I got the time, I'm all about this.
Fuck yeah. So shout out that selection once again.
Oh, sorry, it was the brain. Just it's psychological. There's some rockin' tits in it, and there's a giant, like fucking 10-foot tall ball of a brain that you can clearly tell people are pushing on a dolly, but it just adds to the fucking spice.
Little note too before we move on. Almost every one of our movies tonight is available on Tubi, if not on YouTube. Darkness is going to be the main glaring exception to that. But all of these are available.
Little Shop of Horrors. Surprisingly, Little Shop of Horrors is really hard to find.
I bet you it's on YouTube somewhere, or you can find a download of it on Internet Archive.
I didn't check Internet Archive, but I know I had to wind up buying the Blu-ray just so I could rewatch it.
Yeah, if you're down to like download a movie to watch it, there's not too much of this stuff that isn't on Internet Archive. Just don't be throwing that out there too often because we don't want to like throw shade on those guys and get them fucking banned. But it already happened with Fangoria, dude. I think, and honestly, I think I had a small part in that because I used to always send people to the Internet Archive link for Fangoria, and then when they came out with their online archives again, they of course like went after people like the dudes on the Internet Archive. I got some good Lone Wolf and Cub reviews over there too that were not allowed to be on YouTube. It's a good place to upload those reviews for like a download purpose. If something just proves to be too difficult to get past the copyright shit on YouTube, just throw it on Internet Archive, give people a link. I mean, I would regularly get 200 downloads and stuff like that over there. Just from doing that, you know. Most of my Godzilla stuff ended up over there.
Yeah, because Toho's a fucking bitch when it comes to YouTube.
Right. So my next film is one that I think encompasses just about everything that I love about, you know, low budget schlock and B movies and everything like that. It's a spoof of detective noir films from decades past by Fred Olen Ray, director of such films as Scalps and, you know, Scalps.
Scalps.
He's done a ton of other stuff, but I don't know if they're as good as that. This is one called Hollywood Chainsaw Hookers. So let's check out this trailer real quick, and then we'll get back to you guys with those thoughts.
When you work in Hollywood, you learn fast that there's just two kinds of girls in a town like this. The sweet, shy, innocent ones. You know, the ones you want to take home to mom. And then there are the other kind. The ones you just want to take home.
Music does something.
Sometimes they like to play a little rough, but then these aren't your average girls.
Oh no!
And this isn't your average movie. If you haven't figured out by now, there's something for everybody. Well, almost everybody. There's action, romance, and a cast of thousands. It's Hollywood Chainsaw Hookers. These girls charge an arm and a leg.
I think it's time somebody cut you down to size, Jack.
Have you ever considered therapy?
I'm going to enjoy splattering you.
Hostile. Very hostile. But a great set.
Yeah, I know.
I wish that I could touch her.
Hollywood Chainsaw Hookers. It's a comedy that'll leave you in pieces.
So, thoughts? You seen that shit?
I've never seen that before. I was watching it and that trailer, and I'm like, that dude looks familiar. And as soon as I saw Gunnar Hansen, I was like, oh fuck, it's fucking Gunnar Hansen. And I was looking at the blonde there, and I'm like, is that fucking Linnea Quigley? And thank God. You know what? I miss the days when trailers would
list them.
List them. Like, be proud of that shit. Like, you got Linnea Quigley and Gunnar Hansen in your movie. You announced that.
Circumstance, baby. Ric Flair shit. Woo! I want to. hear their fucking announcement at the end, you know.
I mean, the movie's called Hollywood Chainsaw Hookers. I think it was Hollywood, but there was definitely chainsaws and there was definitely hookers.
Oh, there's Linnea Quigley, Michelle Bauer, naked as fuck most of the time. All right, and then you got chainsaw cults, okay, with chainsaw dances, chainsaw battles. You got Gunnar Hansen in there. You got like cool sort of like detective noir spoof vibes the entire time, which maybe wasn't. The trailer made it seem a little bit more like your average indie 80s comedy. But when you watch it, it's a lot more like it's spoofing those like neo-noir detective or noir, not even neo-noir, just regular noir style detective movies from back in the day. But doing it in like the 80s, you know.
Except with chainsaws and hookers.
With chainsaws and hookers, yeah. It's really amazing, dude. And the whole reason we haven't been really mentioning it enough, but you know, based on the gimmick, the first couple of movies on my list are just there for the fact that I can keep watching them and because they come with a bunch of special features. This one's on there 100% because of the nudity and because of the fact that it's funny. You know, if you're going to be on a desert island with these movies for ages, you need something like that has rewatchability on its side and the fact that it's fucking funny and it has a ton of tits in it because you're not going to have internet access. So Michelle Bauer and Linnea Quigley are going to come in fucking handy during some of your time on the island.
That's smart, man. That's smart. I did not even think of that. You need tons of nudity. You gotta get something to get through the lonely times.
Well, think about it. That awkward love scene in Night Beast is pretty much there too, for like a good barometer. Like when you finally hit the point where you've jerked off to enough stuff from the rest of your list that you're getting to the love scene in Night Beast, it's time to start building that raft and get the fuck out of here. Like if you have officially hit rock bottom if you're masturbating to the love scene in fucking Night Beast.
That needs to be a fucking t-shirt on the front. If you're masturbating to the to the love scene at Night Beast on the back, it's time to build the fucking raft.
Yeah, because nobody is coming to fucking rescue you. That's the reality that you're living.
I'm actually feeling bad about my list now. I realized all the movies I picked are kind of low on the nudity scale. There ain't a lot of nudity in Little Shop of Horrors.
Hey, dude, if we crash together, we've got fucking everything up to Night Beast, obviously. So what's your next film there, Ryan?
So my next one is another Canadian pick. This one is actually much like what you just mentioned. Shit, I already forgot the name. Fuck, you got to send me the name of that movie because I do not want to forget about it.
Darkness.
Darkness.
Yeah.
So Leif Yonker's
Darkness is a good way to remember it because Leif Yonker sounds like a
Yonkers
70s fucking, you know, pop idol or something. Leif Yonker from Sweden.
Leif Yonker. This is a very, very unknown Canadian independent horror film. It did just see a Blu-ray release, and they only released, I think, 2,000 copies. I did manage to snag one.
Was it Vinegar Syndrome?
No, it wasn't Vinegar Syndrome. Fuck, I can't remember. That's okay. I was gonna say I'll try to dig it out, but I've got like fucking 2,000.
Shoot it to me later.
Fuck that. So this is a movie called End of the Line.
Oh, okay. I'm not familiar with that one.
So this is a movie where a bunch of people are getting on a subway train. They've all dealing with their own personal problems. It starts off kind of tame, nothing really happening. And you can tell there's been drops every now and again. There's this weird cult, like just a, born again Christian-y kind of thing going on. And all of a sudden, all these cult members who also happen to be on this train, their pagers all go off at the same time. And the cult realizes it's the end times. So they've got to murder a bunch of people to save as many souls as possible. They got to kill them before the demons rise and take souls to hell. And the rest of the movie plays out like a survival story of these people trying to get back onto the surface, get back to high ground to get away from this insane cult that is just murdering people left, right, and center. And the movie very much plays with is it or isn't it real? Like, is it actually the end times? Is this cult just fucking crazy? The movie does a really good job of juggling everything back and forth. You don't know what to believe, what's going on. The tension's great. There's a lot of practical gore going on. Like, these people got these shitty cult knives, and there's a lot of stabby stab, and it all looks great. Yeah. This movie, I watched this again as a kid. I fucked, the same fucking gas station that I rented like a lot of these other movies from. And that movie stuck with me a lot as a kid. And it was, I don't know if it was Scream Until You Like It or Hamityville, but one of them had mentioned this Blu-ray release. And I was like, holy fuck, this is that movie.
Yeah, it's not one again, you hear about. Yeah.
No, because it disappeared. Like, it never got a DVD release. Basically, there was this VHS, and that was it. It just died.
Right.
It was one of those movies that just went into obscurity and was probably never going to be seen again. And they mentioned that there was this like limited release. So I picked it up right away. There's tons of great special features on it. And it just was fucking amazing to relive that. And watching it as an adult, it absolutely holds up. I fucking love this movie. It's creepy. It's over the top with the gore. And the characters, like the cult, is just fucking bonkers. And they're scary as fuck.
What's the title again? One more time, just to
End of the Line.
End of the Line. From what year? Late 70s?
No, this is newer. This is like 96, 98. Just a sec. I'm looking it up. Holy shit, 2007.
Also a good time to go revisit that Dio song, End of the Line.
No, that can't be right.
That's Last in Line. Never mind. Am I evil, Lord divine? I'm the last in line. Yeah. Okay. Anyway.
I'm having a Mandela effect moment here. I would have been 24 when this came out. I swear to God, I rented this from the gas station when I was a kid.
Hey, but is that when the fucking DVD release and shit came out of it initially or something?
Still saying
sometimes that gets confused.
Still saying, dude, my mind's being blown right now. I don't even know what's happening.
Hey,
but either way, whatever year it came out, it's a great fucking movie. Check it out. The practical effects are spot on. It's a great story. As the movie goes on, you keep thinking it's got to peak at some point. It just keeps going and going and going. I can rewatch this movie 1,000 times. I just have a blast with it.
And that's where it is. That's what really matters, because that's the reason we're here. Rewatchability. What would you take to you with what would you take to a fucking desert island?
My next film is fucking with my head.
We might just run through this, man, because I know I don't want to keep you up too late, but we only each have a couple of films left. So.
Oh yeah, go nuts, man. I'm here.
All right, cool. So my next film on the list is one that I'm sure a lot of people were like, how is there not a Peter Jackson movie on here? And well, there is, but it's maybe not the one that everybody always picks, because it's constantly Dead Alive. That's everybody's favorite splatter movie, and I get it, it's insane, but there's something about Bad Taste that has always resonated with me. Bad Taste is my favorite of the two. I'm not really a big fan of his Muppet movie. It's okay, but it really does feel in a lot of ways like some edgelord try hard shit, so I'm not really that into Meet the Feebles. My favorite Peter Jackson movie is this and The Frighteners. So I don't know what that says about me, but because The Frighteners fucking rules, and we'll definitely find an excuse to talk about that on this channel eventually.
I got to see The Frighteners at the drive-in a few years back. It was such an amazing experience.
Dude, if you guys ever cover that, you should, I would request that you let me come on. I love The Frighteners. I think it's one of the best, like, unsung 90s horror films, you know. How the fuck can you complain about a decade that gave us The Frighteners? I mean, I just don't get it. And Carnosaur, you know.
Carnosaur. The Frighteners gets oddly shit on a lot. I don't like. It's such a weird thing. The Frighteners is one of the biggest divides in horror that I don't understand. There's people that love it, and there's the ones who didn't like it back in, what was it, like 98, 99?
Whenever, you know, they were like probably listening to Slipknot and like, not enough splatter or something, you know, like, get over it, you fucking bitch. You know, the movie's fun as fuck. I don't understand how, as a horror fan, you can dislike The Frighteners. I understand how, as a splatter fan, you could be like, lame, whatever. He went back to horror, but did it in like this PG-13 mainstream style. But I fucking love Frighteners, and so
it's pushing the PG-13 envelope, though. It's like, I took my kids. Like I said, I went to the drive-in a few years ago. I took my kids. I'm like, "What's The Frighteners?" Is PG-13, but I'm watching it with them. I'm like, "Oh, this is pretty dark for PG-13."
Oh, you worry about your kids in horror films? See,
just
the only thing
stuff.
I don't show, I've never shown my kid like Necromantic or Cannibal Holocaust, or like the fucked up movies, you know.
Yeah.
But anything else she wants to watch is on the table.
No, my daughter's the big
weirdly
horror
enough,
nerd.
my kid's like barely interested in horror. She likes certain things a lot, but then the majority of it, she's like, I don't give a shit. Her whole thing is Scream, Child's Play, and Trick or Treat. Like Sam and all that stuff, you know. And she loves the movie, but
my daughter's the same way.
She clowns me all the time for watching all this shit. Yeah. My kid's one of my biggest fucking detractors. She's like, you're watching some movie called like Cannibal Redneck Menstrual Cycle or something. Like, what the fuck are you over there doing? And I'm like, I don't even know. I haven't figured out. I have no excuse for this shit.
I've had that conversation.
There's nothing
once
I can
twice.
say that can make it make sense. You know? I'm just a dipshit. You know, I like dumb stuff.
But it's funny because when you were bringing up Darkness, I was getting a lot of bad taste vibes from that, because again, like, you know, Peter Jackson, it took him years to film this. And he played several roles in it, if I remember right.
He does, yeah, several aliens.
Such a fun movie, and I absolutely love the Lord of the Rings trilogy. Don't get me wrong, I fucking love the Lord of the Rings.
Yeah, it's amazing.
But that killed Peter Jackson ever returning to horror for us.
I still don't believe that and refuse to. Peter Jackson has spent a lot of time in the last couple of years updating these movies, actually.
He has.
Bad Taste is one of those movies that does not have a proper Blu-ray release or anything in that capacity, but we're getting an entire Peter Jackson fucking box set, from what I've been told. That it's all meticulously restored shit that Peter Jackson has been involved in himself.
Oh yeah,
I don't think that there's honestly, I think we've yet to see the best splatter that Peter Jackson can give us.
So you're thinking he's going to come back and give us one more?
Oh, dude, and with absolute epic, like, it'll be. You remember how huge the fucking, you know, Tarantino, Rodriguez, Grindhouse thing was back in the day, like, for the horror community? I think when Peter Jackson comes back, I think it's going to be a trilogy of fucked up movies that are all practical effects that he sinks. Look at what he's doing with all these, like the World War I stuff and everything like that. The dude is like a sucker for realism, and he just absolutely loves everything he still did back in the day on those movies. 100%.
I hope you're right. That's
imagine just his money funding 3 movies right in a row, just as a way to sort of nod to his involvement in the Rings stuff. A trilogy, if you will.
I'd
just
be there
being
opening
full
night.
of the most insane practical effects that money could ever buy. You know, I really do think that he's building up to that.
No, I'd be there opening night.
Full
100%.
circle. It's going to be like a Guar concert, dude. You know, just insanity. But yeah, Bad Taste is our next movie. So here it is.
We've got trouble.
Good word. Right, we're on our way.
Tomorrow we're having you for lunch.
How are we going to do if we're spotted, Frank?
Hey, Frank!
The real ticket.
Here, it was right all along. Look down. That's it. Those weekend cowboys.
What's up, boss? You go on. I'm gonna go back and stop those
Wankers.
God's sake, Oz, put that thing down. Let's get in there and hit the leader.
Get the launcher!
It's hard to be mad at that. What's your next one, baby?
So I guess this is the 5 of 5. Again, some people might consider this a little more mainstream, but to me, this is top tier schlock that somehow managed to get a bit of a budget. And I think I actually mentioned the anime earlier. I'm going with the Guyver.
Fucking A, dude.
Screaming Mad George.
You. I just fell in. I've always been in love with you, Ryan. But holy shit, dude!
Like
the guy is one of the. I should have put that on my list. I feel so lame that I didn't.
As a kid, I wasn't big on anime. I actually had a buddy who was really into it, and he picked stuff that he thought I would like, and the Guyver was one of them. So I'd seen the anime before I saw the live action movie. If like we're talking about movies, you mentioned something earlier like deserved a modern remake.
Oh god.
In the days of the superhero film, I would love to see a new Guyver movie. Like the fucking suit, the fucking monsters,
but with practical effects.
Oh yeah, it has to be practical.
It has to be like Psycho Gorman style practical.
Oh, fuck.
Basically, Psycho Gorman was our new Guyver when you really think about it.
That's the closest we've gotten.
Because there's a ton of influence from that movie in Psycho Gorman.
Just Power Rate, like Guyver is like the best over the top. And
if you
shout out
Power
to Guyver
Rangers
too.
And mixed it with all the horror movies of the 80s, that's what you get with Guyver. I mean, it's fucking amazing.
Shout
Mark
out to
Hamill
Guyver
turns
too.
into a giant fucking centipede in that movie,
right?
Like excruciatingly, you know.
And again, we got that I can't remember his name. We got the dude from Reanimator again. But again, this was Screaming Man George. This was
Brian Usna, probably.
Brian Usna, thank you. It was Brian Usna again.
It's God, I fucking love the Guyver movies. But in my mind, those are like bigger budget than I was looking at too.
I know.
So
and
I'm glad that you brought this because, man, dude, the Guyver 2's better than the first one.
Yeah, because it went hard R. Like it should have from the get-go because the Guyver has never been tamed. And it's got fucking David Hayter as the Guyver. Solid Snake.
Yeah, from Metal Gear Solid.
Yeah.
If you guys want the best, like absolute schlock, I don't even know if, well, there's schlock involved for sure. It's just insane. If you're a child of the 80s or the 90s, you need to fucking see the Guyver movies immediately. I mean, the first one is great, like schlock, and then the second one just goes full epic, like amazing effects movie, sci-fi action superhero flick.
It's Power Rangers with eye gouging.
Off the cliff, dude. The part where he jumps off the cliff and the Guyver suit like takes like that is, I don't know what fucking gay moment in the Marvel movies you compare that to, but that is my moment, like Spider-Man jumping down in like a 3-point stance or whatever the kids are into. That's, you know, my moment with that is like, like he jumps off that fucking cliff and then
screams Guyver, and then you see the suit fucking shoot out and you hear it
over his body, like,
and he lands and he's just in the fucking suit.
Beat that,
Guyver.
Kevin Feige or whatever the fuck his name is.
That's it, Kevin Feige. Nothing. There is no end. You got your end games and your fucking $800 million movies. Yeah. All you needed was fucking David Hayter and, like I said, eye gouging. It's Power Rangers with eye gouging. Like it's
not even a joke. The fight sequences too in Guyver 2 are better choreographed than most modern superhero fight sequences. Mm-hmm. They just didn't have the effects to make them look as dynamic. You know?
No, and that's it. And on that micro budget that they had, they still pulled off amazing suit work. Like these guys look fucking phenomenal. All the creature design is amazing. These
when
movies,
people hearken to Power Rangers with it, it kind of undersells Guyver, in my opinion, because man, is it just top notch, you know?
That's the best thing you can compare it to, though. You know what I mean? Like it's just like Power Rangers still had the camp. It has the campiness.
Everybody could relate to that style of fighting and effects,
but it also has the campiness, like that feeling. Like just look, we're here to see guys in suits fight each other. And that's what Power Rangers had as kids, and that's what the Guyver gives you.
We're not looking for deep plot or character development or anything like that, you know.
We just want to see Bugmen fight badass guys in power armor that has fucking elbow knives.
Yeah, so don't any of the this guy in fucking Predator was sexist crowd come at us. Just get the fuck out of here. With all of that, that's the most ridiculous shit I've ever. You mean the dude in the fucking movie literally made of testosterone is fucking sex? I'm sorry. Holy shit! I thought we were all just a bunch of sexual tyrannosaurs, like fully aware of what this thing was, but apparently not. You know. No one would claim that anybody in fucking Barbie was a misandrous or whatever the fancy word for that shit is, you know, like it's just, of course they are. Let's just move on because those movies are for certain people. I don't think Predator was aimed at the same crowd as Barbie. So if there's a guy in there telling sexist jokes to a bunch of bros that are like drunk on fucking, you know, Keystone Light and watching an Arnie movie, I don't see the problem, you know.
No, because that's what the movie's made for. It's a bunch of guys who are drunk on Keystone Light and want to watch a fucking movie.
Exactly. No one's saying that to those chicks high on estrogen, fucking buying Gwyneth Paltrow's queef fucking candles and watching, you know, watching this shit. Like, you guys are allowed to enjoy what you enjoy. Hate men all you want. I don't give a fuck. You know, let us silently hate you too while we watch Predator. I mean, nobody hates anybody, really. We wouldn't exist without each other. We all like a good bit of pussy and we enjoy our wives or our girlfriends, but come on. Don't try to tell me that fucking dude in Predator is sexist while also enjoying those kind of films. I mean, well, it's just Agree to disagree, I think, is the way they say it. So what's the next films on our list? You got another one, man?
I got my 5 done. That was Guyver was my 5th. What's your last one?
Oh, that's right. My last one is arguably, well, we got some comments over here to look at.
Oh.
Don't know why, but it reminded me of Toyland. I'm assuming she's... Let's decode that. Please, clarify. Babes in Toyland 1986.
Yeah.
Me and my girlfriend still disagree on what's the better version of Babes in Toyland. I would argue the previous one from
I've actually never seen either.
I'm not a huge fan of the one with Keanu Reeves, but she likes it.
Oh, that's right. Keanu Reeves did one. Yeah, I've never seen any of those.
That one right there, 86.
That's right. It was a baby Keanu.
Yeah, I love the original. I guess to me, the original one that my grandpa used to show us when we were kids. But I think it's from the 50s, maybe the 60s. She also says Barnaby's Ghoul Dudes.
I got nothing for that one.
I don't know what that means, babe. Can you clarify both those statements or just everything you've said since I love you, babe? I love you, but I have no fucking idea what you're talking about. My final film is The Dead Next Door from J.R. Bookwalter. I think if you had to pick a film that really embodies the pinnacle of B-movie filmmaking and DIY backyard dudes that took it the fucking distance, Dead Next Door is the one that comes to mind for me. I mean, he essentially made a Romero scale movie with B-movie actors and local talent with just old school crowdfunding, people that believed in the movie giving him money to make the movie. No internet involved, no anything like that. Just J.R. Bookwalter out there selling options for the film distribution to dentists to make this fucking zombie film, People take for granted how easy it is for them to make a movie nowadays,
Mm-hmm.
When you look at something like The Dead Next Door, and this is on my list because it's an epic movie with a fuck ton of special features on the Blu-ray release. That's why it's a desert island movie, because I could watch, 8 hours of content with them. But in reality, a lot of people take for granted how easy it is to fucking make a movie nowadays. And I think it's important for a lot of these modern filmmakers, especially, to look at stuff like The Dead Next Door and look at, the behind the scenes of it and realize that shit didn't always work like that. Maybe you should put a little more passion into your movie that you sell every roll of to the highest bidder and basically do nothing for, go out there and look at a J.R. Bookwalter who would have made Dead Next Door with half of the money that you raised for, your shitty straight to streaming movie. So just something to consider for, other filmmakers as well, or all of us. But here it is, Dead Next Door.
Unexplained appearance of grotesque, flesh-eating humans, at first thought to be the publicity stunt of local movie producers and so studios, the Zombie Doctors.
Hurry, Father! They're coming!
Channel 5 has now learned that this grotesque happening is, in fact, a reality, and one that is quickly spreading as more and more of these human cannibals appear throughout this area.
about time.
Do you think Jones's people will come after us?
Find those people. It's feeding time. The hell? Get them!
There it is, man. I mean, Dead Next Door gives off absolutely the same vibes as something like Darkness because they're made in the same spirit, you know.
No, it was independent filmmaking when independent filmmaking was, I don't want to say a chore, but it was like you mentioned before, like it's a lot easier to shoot a movie now.
Labor of love.
Yeah.
I think is a better way to put it. You know, not a chore. Well, it was a chore. Let's be real.
Yeah, no, it was hard as fuck.
I think all those people would say that. The labor of love makes it sound a little bit better, but those movies were not easy to make, you know? I mean, movies still aren't easy to make. Modern technology has not made shooting a movie easy. If you're going to shoot a good movie. A lot of these people shoot mediocre movies knowing they're mediocre movies that they could paste some fucking generic CGI stuff on to charge people money on a GoFundMe thing and, you know, make profit on. All of us that support that stuff are, you know, tacitly like endorsing it and allowing that shit to happen. If we gave more money to movies that are like Dead Next Door, we would have more movies like Dead Next Door. But unfortunately, the market is as such that we don't even see movies like this anymore because everybody knows they don't have to do movies like this anymore.
No, because it's a lot easier to shoot a bunch of CGI and call it a day. Like you can use friggin' what is that called? PowerPoint? Not PowerPoint. Fuck. Shit. What's the editing software?
Oh, I don't even know, man. I know what you're talking about. It's right on the tip of my tongue, but
oh my god, Photoshop, Jesus Christ.
You can do anything with all that stuff. I mean, you know, and just make the fakest movie ever. And unfortunately, as much as I like a lot of the people that do these, there's a lot of fucking movies out there now that are GoFundMe movies. They're not real movies. Like it's, you watch it and you can tell that it's a GoFundMe movie. It's one that they raised money for, and all the people in the movie pretty much are people that bought a perk that allowed them to be in the movie. You know, there's no real script. They're not real movies. They're fundraising relics, you know.
There are a few golden ones in there. Like there's some people that have learned how to use the Indiegogo. And yeah, like I've seen a couple of good ones. We just watched last night
We're in a couple
Murder
of
Size.
ones, you know.
Yeah.
Murder
I just
Size
watched
is a
Murder
great
Size
example.
last night. That was a great time.
But yeah, that's where we got to elaborate is you got to really, you know, sort of do your research and figure out if it's a vanity project to earn money or if it's like an actual movie that's, you know, Murder Size is a great example of something that's became a cult classic already. Like it's to everybody that has seen it, you know, and that was made with love. The crowdfunding was to finish it off and like do the stuff that you need to do to make a movie, you know.
Yeah. I got a buddy who's working on a movie right now. Buddy Matt, there's going to be a movie coming out called Air Fryer Slaughter. And that
we're both aware of that.
Yeah,
mutual friends there.
Yeah, it's shaping up to actually look like something pretty special. So
But it's also shaping up to almost be like a fun parody of this crowdfunding, like, culture that's been created here, where most of the shit happens and like people nobody cares about or end up in the roles and they've all paid for their place to be there or whatever. These guys are making like a fun meme movie pretty much with the air fryer slaughter shit. And I think that's fucking great. Get everybody involved in the joke to make the movie of the joke. But to my knowledge, they're not selling roles in the movie. They're selling little perks where you can like get in the movie in other ways, but you're not going to be like the main character in the movie.
Exactly. Yeah. Like you get your face on a wanted poster or something, like just something fun like that. But the actual movie itself, like they're getting a good buddy of mine, Claire Bacon, is going to be Slutty the Clown in the movie.
Claire rules. So does old Dick Bacon, her fucking husband.
Oh, fucking Richard is amazing. That's what I mean, but that's a good example.
Call him Dick Bacon.
Yeah. That's a good example of this done right.
Yes.
But it's like you said, there are so many out there who are just like you said, they're looking to score a quick buck and release something to keep everybody happy.
Yeah. And you watch the movie and you can just feel that almost every person in it paid to be there. They're not actual people involved in realizing any kind of vision. They're just there reading lines in a slot.
No, exactly. And this, sorry, we started talking about everything else except the movie you just saw the trailer for. Again, this is one that has been a blind spot to me. I thought I had seen it. I could have sworn that I'd seen The Dead Next Door, but when I watched that trailer, I realized I hadn't.
You need to. Several streams, I think even ones we've been on together, I've worn that hat where it says, like, once I thought I was wrong, but I was mistaken. That's from Dead Next Door,
I thought I was wrong, but I was mistaken.
Yeah. Once I thought I was wrong, but I was mistaken. It's the best hat ever. Yeah. Straight from Dead Next Door. I got it from buying like Dead Next Door shit. Yeah. One of the best zombie movies in my opinion too, because it kind of takes all that shit that you get in the Romero zombie movies, but makes it a little less pretentious and kind of combines it with just, cool splatter and fun B-movie charm and all that stuff. So you're going to love it, dude.
Less of a political message. Less of a political message, more of a let's just have fun with this.
Exactly. So, I don't want to overhype it. I'm not going to say anymore, but you should definitely watch Dead Next Door eventually.
This is why I always like chatting with you, because there's always, I think I've seen it all, and then you always at least give me like 2 or 3 that I got to add to the list.
Hell yeah, man. Happy to be of service. So you got anything else that you want to plug to the people? I mean, you guys have had some episodes that are coming out.
I guess we're wrapping this up.
We're out of movies to talk about.
So yeah, I'll just do a quick plug here. As Mo's already mentioned, I'm Canadian Boy Ryan. We used to call it a podcast, and then we realized we're basically a YouTube show. The Hormonal Werewolves, you can find us on YouTube under Hormonal Werewolves. We've started a Facebook group as well. Good little community. People just shooting the shit about horror, sharing memes. We're pretty easy, laid back there. There's not too much that's not allowed. We have an upcoming watch along happening this Friday at 9 p.m. We're going to be watching Kingdom of the Spiders together.
Hell yeah.
Shoot the shit on Discord, have a good time. I'm also on the Scream Until You Like It network. I have the Amityville retrospective, where I myself and Nicole Fists are going through the arduous task of looking at every single Amityville movie that's ever been released. I'm just in the process of editing our 3rd episode, Amityville 3D.
You'll see me in at least 2 of those, dude. I'm in.
I know. I'm excited about that.
And Amityville webcam. So.
No, we were just talking about Amityville webcam the other day. I was like, every time I think we've got everything covered, we realize there's another one to add to the list. And yeah, that's Septum Sin, right? He's got that going.
Yep.
Yeah.
My co-host on the channel.
Yeah. He's so yeah, Amityville webcam is on the list. That will once we're gonna try to do chronological until we get through like the main storyline. But after that, it's kind of a grab bag. We're just gonna pull whatever we can. But definitely once you guys drop webcam, that'll be on the top of the list there, and we'll give it a watch and shoot the shit about it.
Look forward to your opinions. I'm not particularly good in any of them. It was all just favorites for friends. Somehow I've amassed a small IMDb list.
There you go.
Of like 3 or 4 movies that I'm in now.
I assure you, I've seen a good chunk of these Amityville movies, and I'm sure yours will be just fine. There's no way that.
Maybe.
There's no way it can be the worst.
Time will tell. If we're the worst, I would embrace that as much as us being the best. So
it would be epic if you got it. Like, you would have to actively be trying to sabotage, I think, at this point. But yeah, no, that's basically all I do
now, and Ryan can continue to plug whatever they got going on. But yeah, tell them where to find you, man.
Oh yeah, so like I said, Hormonal Werewolves YouTube channel, Hormonal Werewolves Facebook group, Scream Until You Like It network, Clint Myers, Mike Mazzei, Nicole Fiss. Again, horror convention stuff, trailers, all that good stuff. One of those, you can usually find me there. That's about it.
Very cool. You guys can find us here, as you well know. We don't have much coming up. Pretty much, continuing our H.G. Lewis coverage. We're going to be talking about A Taste of Blood. In terms of the full moon coverage, we still have to do a Trancers 2 review, and then we're going to be moving on to some other stuff. In terms of classic cuts, we got to bang out that Videodrome review that we had to reschedule from last week. But after that, we've got Maniac and Hellraiser, so look forward to those ones. Both good discussions that I think if we can get a good crowd of people in here for them, they'll be real sexy. I think tonight went exceedingly well, Ryan.
I had a great time
coming on for this. Yeah, this was awesome. Look forward to more of this type of stuff. Hopefully we can get his other co-hosts on here for an episode of this at some point. It'd be cool to hear what Abby and Adam have to say about all this shit. But till then, I've been Mosley. You've been a bunch of sexy beasts. This has been an episode of that Midnight Movie Massacre, baby. So, sub up all the relevant channels. Check out our links in the description below. And we'll see you back here real soon.